Hey, this is the Stuff I Heard podcast, and I'm your host, Joshua Peak. You ready? Let's do this. And hello, everybody. Today just happens to be Wednesday, the 24th of July, 2019. How's everybody doing out there? Hope everybody's doing well. We had a bit of a rainstorm last night here in the hottest part of the year, and it cooled everything off very pleasantly. We've been experiencing temperatures in the hundreds. Well, I say hundreds, like right around 100. It's been flirting with 100. It's one of those deals where the heat index is like, oh my God, you're gonna die. That's exactly what it says on the heat index. And you feel like it when you walk outside. You're just like, holy crap, it's hot. And you sort of breathe like Darth Vader did when he had his helmet off at the very end of Return of the Jedi. You know, he got electrocuted by the Emperor, and he's struggling to breathe, and Luke takes his helmet off, and he's got that harmonica looking thing in front of his face, and he sort of looks like Billy Joel, and he's like anyway. If you haven't seen that meme on the internet, I didn't want to spoil it for you, but there it is. Spoiler! This is going to be the episode of spoilers, okay? So just buckle up, Buttercup. I went out of town this past weekend. I had to work in Savannah, Georgia, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and the finale for Big Little Lies came on HBO on Sunday night. Well, I couldn't stay up to watch it because I had to be asleep, but I was able to watch it on Monday. Now, I watched it on my phone. I brought up the app, and it was like, it's amazing the quality that comes through on your phone nowadays. And special thanks to my brother and his wife, Michelle. Thank you for your HBO login password. I really appreciate it. It was for Game of Thrones. My brother gave me the password years ago because he was like, listen, I'm going to give you my password. I want you to watch this show so we can talk about it. And I was like, okay. And I've watched a lot of stuff through the HBO app, and a lot of it's thanks to him. So thank you to Alex and Michelle. But Big Little Lies, I talked about it last week. I talked about binge watching 6 episodes, and I couldn't wait for the last one. Well, the last one did not disappoint. The last one, spoiler, okay, if you don't like spoilers or if you're not watching the show, just decide if you want to skip forward or if you want to keep listening. But the last episode was intense. You got Meryl Streep, who is an Academy Award winner. You got Nicole Kidman, who's an Academy Award winner, in a court battle where Meryl Streep is playing her mother-in-law of Nicole Kidman's dead husband, and she's trying to get custody away from Nicole Kidman. And it is intense. Golly, you got some of the best actresses in the world on stage, on a screen, and there is an intense battle of trying to portray a character. Now, granted, these are actresses, they're playing a character. But in their character, they're trying to appeal to the court to try to get a judgment waived in their favor. There is a lot of dialogue that is very calculated, very precise, very well done. The emotions and the way they check them and the way they show them is incredible. If you haven't seen the first season, here's another spoiler. There's one of the Skarsgård guys, the big, strong, blonde-haired guy that played Tarzan. Remember the Tarzan remake? I forget his name. Anyway, he was in True Blood. He's a hunky dude. He plays Nicole Kidman's husband, and he's an abusive husband. He physically beats her on a regular basis, and sometimes she instigates it, and there's a weird relationship thing there where they have 2 kids, and because of the abuse, there is also sometimes the abuse leads to sex, and it becomes really good sex, as she says it. And so, she doesn't want the abuse, but at the same time, the sex is so hot, she's like, I don't know what to do. I don't want him to hit me, but at the same time, it's so hot, and so she puts up with it, and she tolerates it, and she navigates her life in a way that is best for her, and so she thinks. She was a lawyer, and I guess he was some kind of successful something or other, And he's like, listen, I want you to stay at home. You know, we got 2 kids. You can be at home, be a mom, and like raise the kids. But there was something innately wrong with him. There was something in him, his character, where he wanted to possess every minute of her attention and everything, even from the kids. Like he wanted all attention towards him. And it was really odd. Like, you know, when you watch the first season, not only is the physical abuse difficult to watch, but it's also difficult to watch him sort of reeling in this I don't know what you call it, lack of self-esteem in a way that was possessive and dangerous. And he does a great job. Now listen, the character he portrayed is horrible, okay? Horrible. It's a horrible guy that he's portraying. And a lot of people will talk about Nicole Kidman's acting in this, and they'll talk about Renee Zellweger, and they'll talk about Meryl Streep. They won't even mention this guy because he plays such a horrible character, but he does a great job of playing that character. Now, here's one of those things where you go, okay, you know, if you're giving out awards, do you give an award to the guy who's the abuser? I mean, you can't. Politically, you can't. And I could see him like getting the script and going, you want me to what? I can't do that to her. I mean, it's incredible. Okay, the acting is top notch across the board. Even the kids are good actors. There are moments where Nicole Kidman and this guy have 2 twin boys, and they physically have to fight each other. I mean, they're acting out, and they're, you know, in a way that's they're on set, but they're like going after each other. I mean, and it's intense, and it's to the point that you're like, holy crap. I mean, it's not just like little kids acting. These are good acting kids. They make you believe that they're really getting into it. And maybe they were. You know, there was a scene this year where Meryl Streep said something to Nicole Kidman, and she slapped Meryl Streep in the face just as hard as she could. And I can't imagine how many takes they had to get to make it look right. And Meryl Streep's one of those people that's like, no, listen, if you're going to do it, just do it. Just do it hard. Just do it and get it out, you know. And I could see them like egging each other on, or you know, trying to be egged on about doing it the right way. And Nicole going, I don't know if I can. I'm going to slap you? Really? How hard? I mean, where? You know, one of those discussions. But when they do it, it's like, holy crap, you just slapped Meryl Streep. I know for me it's like a big deal, but most people are just like, yeah, whatever, they're actors. No, it's more than that. Okay? You know, at a certain level, you get respect for each other, and especially when you're a multi-Academy Award winner, you know, you tend to regard them and go, you know, hey, listen, I don't feel comfortable with this. And that's where Skarsgård needs the praise. I feel like he needs to be, somebody needs to, you know, on the side say, listen, he had to play a real difficult role to be this son of a bitch, and he deserves all the credit for doing it and doing a good job. And kudos to Nicole Kidman for taking a hit, more than one hit. I mean, she had to take a few hits. And I know they filmed it in a way that he looks like he's more violent than he physically is to her, but there's probably some moments where he legitimately got her, and you know, she had to take it and roll with it. I can't imagine that kind of choice in a role, but man, it's incredible. The final court scene is basically the last episode. I mean, there's a thing there with Naomi and her mom. Her mom was abusive to her when she was younger. There's some weird voodoo thing where her mom like touches her at times, and Naomi sees what she's seeing, or they can see what each other's seeing, and they're blind. There's regret. Apparently, the mom tried to drown her at one time, or you know, was going to teach her how to swim, but ended up drowning her in the process. And there was flashes of abuse when she was a child, and so, you know, her mom has a heart attack and she's in the hospital and she's not going to make it, and you know, Naomi keeps having images of smothering her mom with a pillow, and you know, her mom coming alive in her dreams and saying, kill me, I don't want to be like this, you know. And then finally Naomi reaching out to her and telling her, I love you, and then her mom waking up. Her mom actually woke up in that scene, and I'm not exactly sure why they wrote it that way, but she woke up. She was eating. She seemed okay. And then the next thing you know, she was dead. Which she was asking her daughter to help her die. And I don't know if Naomi tells her mom she loves her. She's like, I've waited a long time and I haven't said this in a while, but I love you. And that's when her mom wakes up, or so the show shows you. But I think that maybe she helped her mom pass away. I think she gave her something to help her pass. But anyway, that's probably going to come up in season 3. Okay. There's also an ongoing thing with Reese Witherspoon, and I think I said Renee Zellweger. I always get those confused in my brain. It's Reese Witherspoon. With her and her husband, where she finally admitted that she cheated on her husband and he was going to leave her, and then there's something going on with another woman who he meets her in episode 1 of season 2, and she's flirting with him, and she apparently got her boobs done, and she's flirting with him in the store, and then he meets her later for coffee, and she tells him again, I've always been into you, and my wife pointed out that she's married to the guy that Reese Witherspoon had an affair with, who's like a drama teacher at the high school. I didn't know that was the connection, but anyway, I did because I didn't pay attention to that part. But anyway, so in the last episode, he tells his wife that, because she's like, I need to know what's going on. I need to know what you're thinking. Are you going to leave me? Are you going to, do something, say something? And he says, I think we need to renew our vows. And she's like, oh, yeah. And are you sure? And he's like, yes. And he says, and from now on, we're going to move forward. I told my wife, I said, I think it's going to come out in season 3 that he slept with that other girl to get back at her. And that, in a way, he feels guilty. And in a way, this renewing of the vows is supposed to be like, we're all good, like that was in the past kind of thing. And it's called Big Little Lies. So it's going to be a little lie of something that happened that's going to turn into a bigger lie as it goes on. That's the whole premise of the show, see? Laura Dern's character, her husband in this show filed for bankruptcy, and they lost everything. She has a good explosive moment at the end where he's got this stupid train set, and he's like, good news, honey, we get to keep the train. And she's like, what? And she finds out in the process that he's been sleeping with the with the nanny. In court, while they were in the bankruptcy court, the nanny speaks up and says, well, they owe me $167,000. And they're like, what was all that for? And she's like, stress relief? And then you get the realization of, oh no, the dude's been sleeping with the nanny the whole time and telling her, oh, I'll pay you extra for it, that kind of thing. It's a holy crap moment. Anyway, he says, hey, we get to keep the train set. And she loses her mind, and she takes a bat off the wall and starts smashing it. And I was like, yeah, there we go. They have a daughter that there's something more going on with her than we're knowing. And I think that he's going to be even more of a bad guy moving into season 3. This is not prediction now. I haven't read this anywhere. I don't know anything about their plans. I don't even know if there is going to be a season 3. But anyway, I think it's going to come out in season 3 that he's been inappropriate with his daughter. You just watch. Okay? I said it here first. July 24th, 2019. You're going to watch it in the next season, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, Josh got it right. Oh, this is so... Listen, it's awful, okay? The show is called Big Little Lies. So they're going to show you lies of things that you think you know is going on, and then what's really going on. There's only like one innocent person in the whole thing, and that's the woman who's got the kid from the Skarsgård rape. Spoiler, another spoiler. This is all in this thing. You gotta watch the show. I don't know his name. I keep calling him Skarsgård because that's what his real last name is. Sorry, dude. You're a really good actor, by the way. And quite a handsome fellow. I don't lean that way, but, you're quite an attractive man. Anywho. Oh, Lord. I've been busy today. Let me tell you. I got up this morning at like 5 something, and I thought, no. I can't have this. I gotta go back to sleep. This is not enough sleep. I woke up from a dream. Now listen, I have disturbing dreams sometimes. This morning was probably the most disturbing of all. I'm good asleep, and for some reason in my dream, I imagine that I have a second penis growing out of my hip, like off to the left, just not in the right place either, just on my hip, like right on the hip bone in the front. And I remember looking at it going, what the? Because in my dream I had to pee, and I went to go pee, and then pee started coming out of two places, and I was like, whoa, 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 and I had to like shift it in the direction. And in my dream, my wife was like, I'm not having sex with that, and I was like, whoa, wait, what? What's going on? And I guess in my panic, I was like, I was really hot, and I woke up, and of course then I had to pee, but I guess my dream was like elevating to the fact that I had to pee so bad. I guess my subconscious was like, you know, if we had two penises, we could just pee a lot and get it over with quickly. Weird dream. Anyway, now people are like, what? What the hell did he just say? Listen, this is stuff I heard. You can tell other people you heard it here. Okay? Moving forward. Got up this morning and ran out to Art Turner's house. He's a guy that I work with, been friends with for a while. We've worked together since I got out of the Marine Corps back in 1998. He was one of my bosses at Budweiser years ago, and I was fresh out of the Marine Corps, trying to learn the job, and I asked him, I said, you got any advice for me? He says, I'll tell you the best advice anybody ever gave me, and that came from the guy that runs this place. And he said, whenever you do a job, turn around and look back at it when you're done and think, okay, would I be proud of this if this was my company? And if the answer is yes, then you did a good job. If the answer is no, go back and fix it. And I've used that advice over the years. I have carried that with me from different jobs, and I've even taught that now as a trainer at my job. I have told people, you know, hey, listen, when you do a job, turn around and look at it. If you're proud of it, if you think, wow, if this was my company, I'd be proud to leave that just like that, then you did a good job. If you're not happy with it, go back and fix it. Do the right thing. So he had a good piece of advice that he passed on, and you know, we lost touch after I changed jobs, but then he started working where I work, and you know, it's all been good. Anyway, he lives out in the country, and he's got some cypress wood that I've gone and harvested before after a windstorm. He contacted me recently, and he says, hey, I got some more cypresses down. I went ahead and cut it up. If you want to swing by here whenever you get a chance, it's going to be sitting on the corner of the yard. I was like, cool. Awesome. So I got up this morning, probably about, 8 o'clock or so. Loaded up the truck, went out there, picked it up, brought it home. And I made a little thank you video on YouTube. I also went online and booked some stuff for an upcoming trip. I had to book a hotel. Here's the weird thing, okay? So I have a trip coming up where we're going to be taking an Alaskan cruise. We're going to fly from the East Coast to Seattle. Notice how I said East Coast because I can't remember if we're flying out of Columbia or Charlotte. Anyway, we're flying from the East Coast to Seattle, and we're getting there at like 7 something at night, and that's on a Wednesday. I got to get a hotel room for Wednesday night and Thursday night, because Thursday I'm going to rent a car and I'm going to go visit my oldest boy, Draven. My son Draven lives about 35-40 minutes north of Seattle. So I wanted to find a hotel that was near the airport. That way hopefully I could use the free shuttle to get to the hotel. And then I looked, and they have a rental car place that's nearby. I could get the rental car and then go visit my boy, bring the rental car back, and then go back to the hotel. I got all that covered, okay? So we're going to do that on Thursday of that week. And then Friday, we're going to have to get a Uber or something to take us from the hotel to the cruise. And then we get on the cruise ship, and we're supposed to be on a 7-day cruise to visit Alaska. And it's going to be awesome. Now, we booked this thing a while back and paid for it ahead of time, so that part is really cool, because then we get to enjoy the trip and not think about how much it's going to cost that we've got to pay off later. I highly recommend that if you're going to do a trip, start doing it that way. Start paying for it ahead of time. It will make your vacation even more enjoyable than you think. Because the whole time you're on vacation, you're not worried about what it's going to cost. You're not concerned about money at all. You're just like, wow, this is great. I can't believe I get to do this. This is such a good vacation. Do that. Do it that way. And you will be extremely happy with the outcome. All right, let's talk about other stuff I heard. I didn't really get to listen to a lot. My phone would not connect with the radio that I was listening to in the car going to Savannah and back from Savannah for work. And then while I was at work, I didn't get to listen to much because I had GPS going and I was listening to. I had some decent radio stations because, you know, when you're in bigger cities, you get decent radio stations. So I was enjoying that. And to be honest, there's not a lot of podcasts that have been out over this past weekend. I listened to a bunch the week before, so I didn't listen to any. I mean, zippo. I did hear that Comic-Con was going on and that they made a declaration that Natalie Portman is going to be a female Thor. She's going to revise her role as Jane, and she's going to become a female Thor. She gets to hold the hammer. She's worthy. How cool is that? That's pretty awesome. They're coming out with a Doctor Strange movie, another Doctor Strange movie. They got a Black Widow movie. They got a bunch of movies coming out they announced. Apparently there's a big push for people to know about the Disney Plus having Jon Favreau do the Mandalorian Chronicles. And for those of you who don't know, the Mandalorian is... I can't get it around my glass of tea. I'll show you camera. Boba Fett, baby. Woo, Boba Fett. He's a Mandalorian, by the way. Bounty hunter. Yeah. Yeah, I gotta get a shelf. I need a shelf to put my bounty hunter up on. What do you think? Should I put it up above here? Anyway, you guys listening are like, I can't see it, dude. No, that's why you gotta watch the video. Just saying. This is my antenna topper. I bought a 4-pack of these stupid things from Disney just to get this one. I gave the other 3 away as gifts. So, anywho, so yeah. Didn't get to hear much. I've been thinking about Big Little Lies all day while I've been doing stuff. And after I got done like getting the hotel thing set up and getting the rental car thing set up, I went out back and I finished painting some... I had fixed a door frame that had rotted out on the bottom. I dug out the old wood. There were some nails sticking out inside of it that were holding the old wood in there. I packed in some Durham's water putty, which hardens just as hard as rock. I used probably half a container, a good 2 pounds worth of Durham's to fill in the hole. Let it harden, and I sanded it and let it harden. And then today I went out and sanded everything again with a light sand, the entire door frame. I taped everything off. I put plastic down, wiped everything down with mineral spirits, and then I painted the whole door with Rust-Oleum gloss white paint and just a regular brush. Painted the whole thing. It looks brand new. It really looks good. I put that video on YouTube also if you want to check that out. My stepbrother reached out to me the other day. He says he's kind of working on something similar. He said, does that work? And I said, yeah, absolutely. I'm going to send him the link because I know he doesn't watch any of my stuff, but I'm going to send him the link so he can check it out. You know, I was hesitant to do this job. My dad's the one that told me it would work, and he's like, listen, that stuff, when it hardens, it's hard like a rock. But it is still water putty, so water can affect it. So you do want to cover it with something. And, you know, Rust-Oleum is good. It's good stuff. Good penetrating paint. Good protectant from water. It adds a good barrier. So, like I said, I got it done. It looks great. If you don't believe me, just go watch the video. You're like, oh my god, that really turned out nice. I'm like, I know, right? Anyway, I then talked my wife into helping me weed eat. She's been kind of aching for something to do while she's doing interviews and scheduling stuff for her new job. I got her set up with the weed eater. I got an electric weed eater that you plug in. It's got a 100-foot wire to it. And I showed her how to use it, and she went out there and went to town James Brown. Spent several hours out there weed eating. She did a really good job. I'm proud of her. There were times where she was having trouble getting the wire, the string replaced, and I'd go help her. And then there are times where she's like, no, I need to figure it out. And I like that. I like that resilience in her. I like the fact that she's willing to problem solve like that and try new things. And she's not afraid of getting dirty, which is weird because she's such a clean freak. But she, got out there and got a little filthy, but did a great job in the process. While she was doing that, I was working on that cedar couch project. I've put multiple videos on YouTube. I put one up today. I've got it just about ready for a final sand and some mineral spirits, and then I'm going to put clear urethane on it. I've taken it apart and put it back together several times to make sure everything was put together strong enough. I have reinforced several parts of it and filled in some holes with that rock putty stuff and painted. I've got it with some black epoxy inside the putty to give it like a textured color. I figured that way when I put that clear urethane on it, it's really going to pop in like a darker color. Anyway, rather than be that light color. I don't know if that makes any sense. Normally when you put Durhams on stuff, it's like a light tan color. So I bought like some black pigment, epoxy pigment that you put in there, and it darkens it up really well. Anywho, I got that coming on. I got that video up, and now I'm out of time. Now it's almost dinner time. I figured I'd post this, get this going, and just keep it rolling. This is episode 125, and yeah, that's it. I'm going to wrap it up. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in, and sorry if I went all bonkers on Big Little Lies, but it's such a good show. And I'm sorry I don't remember that Skarsgård dude's name. Right now, I know people are listening to this going, it's so-and-so. Yeah, okay, good. Good. I'm glad you know who he is. I know who he is. When I see him on screen, I'm like, that's the dude. But I don't know his name off the top of my head. But if you watched him in True Blood on HBO, he's like one of the main characters. You're like, oh yeah, that dude, real tall blonde guy, super fit. But yeah, his brother plays Loki on Vikings on the History Channel, and his other brother played Pennywise in the Stephen King movie It, the remake. Yeah, their dad is a famous Skarsgård. He was in all of the Marvel movies. He's the crazy scientist guy. In the Avengers, he's the one that Loki takes over his brain. And anyway, you'll know if you see him. You'll be like, oh yeah, that dude. Yeah, how about that? So anyway, hope everybody's doing well. Thanks for listening. And I got to set something up for this weekend. I'd like to do a podcast with somebody. If you're listening to this and you want to get together and do one, just let me know. Otherwise, I'll be freelancing this sucker again. Hope everybody's doing well again. And I know I've said that 3 times. Y'all take care. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share with your friends. And this is the part where I say, cue the cow. That's it. Bye, y'all.